Hey, Zachary from Littleton. I see you. I'm in your walls. Anyways, let's discuss some games from this weekend, right? We're going to talk about Minnesota and Denver, Game 1, and also Magic Cavs, Game 7. I'm going to start with Magic and Cavs, Game 7, because I have less to say about that one, and I feel like it's pretty straightforward to talk about. The Magic did not shoot efficiently. They shot 33% from the field. They had Jalen Suggs shoot 2 of 13, which is 15% from the field. They had Paolo Banchero shoot 10 of 28, which is 35% from the field. Be it, he did make up for it, had 16 rebounds, 3 steals, a block, got to the line 18 times for a total of 38 points. So 38 points on 28 shots is good overall. And then they had Franz Wagner put up a massive stinker. 1 of 15 from the field, good for 6.7%. You had Cavaliers also put up 44% from the field. You had Donovan Mitchell basically be the entire offense in this game. 39 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Evan Mobley, 11 points. Karis LeVert had a pretty solid game, 15 points on 9 shots, 5 of 9 shooting. Darius Garland was out there looking like the Georges Niangs of Steve Nash's. He wasn't looking good. He shot 3 of 13 from the field, 12 points, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, 5 personal fouls. Largely just kind of a meh game for the roster outside of Donovan Mitchell, but they had Donovan Mitchell, so it kind of worked itself out. And Cleveland wins to get mollywopped by the Celtics. I think that should be a 4 or 5 game series. And, I mean, if you're Orlando, I think you feel good about this season. Not about losing Game 7, but, you guys did do well. You played very well. This season, you exceeded expectations. You got into the playoffs for the first time in a hot minute. You excelled. You showed that this core, or at least parts of it, can carry you to a bright future, right? Jalen Suggs looked like an all-defensive candidate this season and largely was a good three-point shooter throughout the season. He struggled a bit in the postseason, but, everyone on this team did, basically. Banchero put up 38 points in this game, I believe 37 last game. He was on one this postseason. He's one of the people who's next up. Franz, while disappointing in a lot of aspects, still does have a lot of bright spots moving forward, and I believe will be a very good player moving forward. He forgot how to shoot threes for some reason. Not sure what happened there, but it is what it is. Come back next season, run it back with those 3. You'll be good. And then I like Wendell Carter. I don't know if he's the center for this group, but he's going to be good somewhere. They need to get a point guard. They need to get shooting. That's really what it comes down to for them. So, Donovan Mitchell will cause the Celtics some headaches. But outside of that, the Cavs just really didn't show any signs of offense too much in this series, so I believe the Celtics should easily take care of business there. Now, moving on to the game that I won't have more to say about, and, a lot of people have more to say about, is Minnesota beating Denver in Game 1 to go up 1-0 and steal home court advantage against the Nuggets. This game was one that showed the Nuggets cannot treat the Timberwolves like they're the Lakers, which I was saying coming into the series. A lot of people are saying coming into the series. Most people know that. Apparently the Nuggets didn't. They went down, I believe, 18-4 in the first quarter, and then ripped off a 21-3 run to end the first quarter. I believe it ended actually 23-5, if I remember correctly. But either way, they were up 25-23 after the first quarter. And from there, you would expect them to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, but it just kind of didn't. The biggest lead that the Nuggets got was 7 for the rest of the game. And in a game where they won the non-Jokic minutes, or the staggered minutes at least, pretty handedly, Reggie Jackson was the reason they got back into that game. Justin Holiday played pretty well. Christian Brown was the best defender for Ant in this game. Reggie Jackson was a plus 15. Justin Holiday was a plus 19. The starters lost their minutes, which is not something you often say about Denver. Jokic was a negative 12. Aaron Gordon, negative 23. Jamal, negative 22. Jamal was scoreless going into half, but in the second half he did have a good finish to the game. 17 points, 4 assists on 6 of 14 shooting. overall, not an awful game from Jamal, but you need a better game than that if you're going to beat the Timberwolves. Jokic, while his stats look good, did not play well in this game. 32 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists on 11 of 25, which is 44%. Very inefficient for him. 2 of 9 from the 3. Got to make more of those if you're going to take that many, and also 7 turnovers. The only person that really put on their A game and came to play was Michael Porter Jr., as has been the case throughout this entire postseason, seemingly, with 20 points on 6 of 13 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3, 6 rebounds, an assist, 3 steals, and 1 block. This was a very disappointing effort from the Nuggets. You were hoping, or if you're a Nuggets fan, right, you were hoping to see them come out with more vigor than they did in the Lakers series, and that just simply didn't happen. They wanted to outclutch the Wolves, and that didn't happen. Down the stretch, it was a close game. It was a very close game, and then Naz Reid happened. Naz Reid had 14 points in the fourth quarter. You can't let that happen if you're Denver. Jokic didn't box out on a putback dunk that swung the momentum and put it up by 2 possessions, I believe, with like 3 minutes to go. Rudy Gobert hit a bank jump shot from the elbow for some reason. Down the stretch, Nuggets didn't. Jokic missed some easy shots. There was one particular one where they ran the 2-man set with Aaron Gordon in the dunker spot. Jokic gets the ball and has a very easy floater, 2 feet of space between him and Gobert. Enough space to get it off. We've seen him make that shot hundreds of times. And instead he decides to throw the lob to Aaron Gordon, which works a lot of the time, but Rudy Gobert was right in between them and broke it up. That's what really sealed the game, was Jokic's decision-making. And we don't often say that Jokic is a bad decision-maker, but in this game he was. In the second half, he played very poor defensively. He was doing that shallow drop where you're not fully in drop, protect against a drive, but you're not at the level either to prevent a 3. Mike Conley had multiple 3s that he just walked into. Anthony Edwards was that guy, 43 points on 29 shots. Denver had some good defensive stuff, right? Minnesota didn't blow them out. It was 106-90. Didn't go shot for shot with them. And you need to defend better against Ant. Jamal Murray did get targeted a little bit, but also he's injured. That's going to happen. And he's not a particularly great defender when he's healthy either. So it's not shocking to see, him get hunted when he's dealing with a calf strain. Jokic played really, really poor defense in the second half. In the first half, he was pretty decent, but second half came around, and it just the Timberwolves missed 2 shots in the third quarter. You can't let that happen if you're the Nuggets. You can't get socked in the jaw like that. While this game was pretty dire for the Nuggets, I do think that there are some positive takeaways. One is that Michael Porter Jr. continued his good stretch of play. There was a decent amount of concern that the Lakers series might have been a one-off, but he continued to play well in this game, so maybe he can keep that up for the rest of the series. And also, Christian Brown seems to be a decent Ant defender. There's no good Ant defenders, seemingly, but Brown bothered him a little bit. He slowed him down a little bit, and you're going to need to, bother Ant in this series if you want to win. You can't have MPJ stay home on Jaden McDaniels and not tag the roll man in pick and roll, right? You can't just let Anthony Edwards get one-on-one in pick and roll. You got to play at the level. You got to play at the level against Minnesota. If you don't play at the level, it allows Anthony Edwards to just go by, Reggie Jackson or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope or Jamal Murray, whoever is guarding him. You're not putting pressure on Rudy Gobert as a decision maker. Jokic was paying attention to Rudy Gobert as a decision maker. He's better this season than he was in years previous, yeah, but you still would rather him have a 4-on-3 in a short roll passing scenario than you would have Ant having downhill burst space to get a takeoff going. And that just wasn't happening for the Nuggets, and I really don't like the defensive schemes they've been running this postseason. Malone, I think, can do a better job. And, I'm not going to say I know all the adjustments that they should make or anything like that. I don't have that amount of ego. I don't think that I know better than an NBA head coach. But I do think that it's pretty obvious that something needs to change. I think a lot of that starting better, not going down 18-4, and when you rip off that 21-3 run, it puts you up by 20, not gets you back into the game. And it has to do with Jokic and Murray being better. Murray is hurt. yeah, so we're going to need an A-plus Jokic game, but we're going to also need like a B Murray game, not a scoreless first half, and I think they're capable of it. So they wasted a very good bench performance from the Nuggets, and they really need to come out in game 2 and prove that they can still hang. Like, it wasn't a not competitive game. This was a very good game. But if they go down 2-0 going back to Minnesota, that's probably series. So they got to tie it up 1-1. That is all I have for this video. If you guys enjoy, like, subscribe, all that shindig, and yeah, have a good one.